Good afternoon, it's Pat Walker at Mission Windows doing a video overview on the ETFs. Why do we do this? This is important. Leading groups produce leading stocks. Leading stocks produce leading groups. I'm not saying this to be cute or funny. It's a fact. And it's a foundation that we can use. If we see an ETF that's doing really well, we could buy that ETF and make money. Or we could also look at the leading stocks that ETF owns. Let's say it was biotechnology, which is what I'm looking at now. You could say, hey, maybe there's some biotechnology stocks I need to look at. That helps us. We systematize things at Mission Winners. Here's a fact. We have a limited amount of money and we have a limited amount of time. Let's move both wisely. It's easy for me to say, let's use both wisely, okay? That's what we do. So let's go in here and take a look. Here's biotechnology, BBH, the ticker symbol's right up here in the name, so you can see it. It's picking up, and it's telling us, hey, maybe look at some biotechnology stocks. There's some leadership there. Cloud computing, it's picking up a little bit, okay? It's not near as strong as biotechnology, but it did have some power volume the last couple of bars. Maybe it'll take across these tops, something to take into consideration. What does that tell us? And I'll draw this for you. Then maybe cloud computing starting to pick up a little bit. There you go. And again, what catches your eyes? It was pretty good volume these last two bars. Can it get above that line? So you could say, I could buy cloud computing, or I could do a search and find out what are the top 10 holdings in cloud computing and see if there's a stock in that ETF that is worth looking into. That's systematizing. At Mission Winners, that's what we do. Look for strength. Look for pockets of strength. Electric vehicles picking up a little bit too. Okay, still a lot of overhead here, so be careful here. Please don't get complacent and don't get sloppy. Dow Jones Internet, this is just lagging. There's nothing good there. I'd be careful with that. IBD 50 fell on really heavy volume. There's not a lot of leadership with the IBD 50. Be careful with that. Gold miners picked up across these tops. Look at the volume pick up there. See that? And it's picking up a little bit. These were clean tops right there. And it had volume. There we go. I'm not saying buy it here, but it did through there. There's the base, and I'll do something to help you. You can say, oh, I see these tops here, and gosh, that was pretty good volume there, Pat. I'll make this bigger for you so you can see this. You say, gosh, I guess if it takes out that white line, that'd be pretty good. Okay, nothing there. Oh, gee whiz, they voted. There you go. It's that simple. Don't overthink it. It works. Here's where it is now. If they're not saying buy it, just pointing things out to you. Gold picking up a little bit here too. Gold and gold miners. Biotech's picking up a little bit. Nothing super special there. Online retail's picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Dow Jones, U.S. oil and gas exploration. It's slow and ponderous, but it is showing some life. Software technology. You can see these tops right here. And it's picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Medicine picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Mid-cap picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Now I need to pause here and share something with you. Did you see or hear what I said several times? We take note of that and we're not forecasting. We're literally looking at what's going on and saying, yeah, the rally's spreading up. There's more opportunities. There you go. And what do we do at Mission Winners? We simply get in line with it. We don't have to forecast. Home construction had a good day on Thursday, pushed through. Home construction's picking up. S&P 500 growth, maybe it's going to go across this line right here. And I'll show something for you, okay? This will help you. And again, we're not forecasting, but look, there's a pretty good up volume bar there, and there was a pretty good up volume bar there. This is the S&P 500 growth. Maybe it's going to go across these tops. What does that tell us? That the rally's spreading out into different areas. It's strengthening. It's going up on a pickup in volume. It's going up on a pickup in volume. That's good to know. It helps guide our actions. IWM, small caps picking up. Maybe it'll go across these tops right here. I'll draw this for you. There you go. Going across these tops. I used to teach this at the IBD meetup. Gosh, once a month I show this. Just hey, where's the strength? Where's the areas maybe to put money? And what are the areas to avoid? There we go. IWM. Airlines picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Regional banking's kind of hanging in there a little bit choppier. Midcap had a good day on Friday on heavy volume. That tells us the rally spread out a little bit. Isn't that good to know? Oil services. You see this simple base right here? This is why I do this every day, right here. Leading groups and leading stocks. You see this clean and simple base? I'll show you something. You'd say, oh, that's pretty clean and simple there. I guess if it takes out that line, Pat, that'd be pretty good. Oh, gee whiz. I guess they voted, didn't they? Yes. And who voted with them? We did, big time. There you go. Clean and simple base. They voted with their pocketbooks. You can see it in the price and volume action. And that is a very good move. And yeah, we're in it. There we go. Please know, this is not bragging. It's pointing out the efficacy of the tactics. Clean and simple base entry. Just scan the charts. When it pushes through clean line, clean tops on volume, hey, that's probably a buy. There you go. That's it. And yes, this was on the key list and we own it. So there you go. Oil is a little choppier. Compare and contrast. Watch this. Here's OIH grinding up. Here's oil. That one doesn't look as good, does it? See the difference? Look at the base and look at it just go. And this chops. That's why we don't own it. Online retail, maybe it's going to push across these tops. There's some tail bars in here, so be careful with that, okay? Tail bar, tail bar, tail bar, tail bars. Needs to go across that top and do it on volume, on online retail. This started to lift off. And you can say, Pat, look at this. This lifted off. It failed. You said this was a good base breakout, ones like this. What was this one lacking? It didn't have any volume. It didn't have any volume on that push. You've got to combine both price and volume action. Volume, team, I taught this for IBD meetups for years. Volume means other people see what we see and they're acting on it. They're voting, they're buying. There ain't a lot of buying there, is there? And it gave it right back. There you go. QLD going across these tops. See the volume pickup on this on Thursday? That pickup through the 50-day, we bought some, and it's Persian. We'll see what happens. QQQ, similar situation, good volume pickup. We like to see that. Retail's picking up, but not a lot of power there, okay? Online cloud computing, going across these tops. And I'll draw this for you here real quick. There you go. What's it need to do? Take out that line on really heavy volume. By the way, I do like the volume pickup on that bar. You see that? They voted. So we'll see what it does. Silver's picking up a little bit. That's good. Steel, see the shelf on steel? I'll draw this for you. And please don't think, oh, it's got to be to the penny. No, just get close. I'm going to do it like that, right? There. Well, that was great, wasn't it? We're going to do that again. There you go. What's it need to do? Take out that line. What catches your eye on the price and volume action the last, 5 days? Up on heavy volume, down on less volume, up on much less volume, down on low volume, up on low volume. It's just resting. Perhaps it will push through these tops. And if it does, and it does it on volume, that could be a potential buy. There you go. Next one, let's move on. SMH is picking up, semiconductors, that's good to see. Spiders picking up, good volume there on Friday. You see that on Thursday? That's good to see. SSO lifted off on volume. We own this. You can see why. Clean tops, good to see. Solar's picking up a little bit, shows the rally strategy up. Small cap picked up just a little bit. That's good to see. Uranium's picking up a little bit. That's decent to see. Oil is chopping around here. It's underperforming. Be careful with oil. All right. The dollar's dropping. Okay. UUP, that's, stay away from that. Be careful with that. Know that. All right. Aerospace and defense is picking up. That's good to see. Biotechnology lifted off across these tops. That's decent to see. Home builders are picking up. That's decent to see. Basic materials is picking up. That's good to see. Energy has been really good. See that base right there? See the volume pickup? See the tops? Yeah, that was on the key list. And it's working. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Here, I'll do something for you to help you. Okay, yeah, just kind of going sideways. Well, there's pretty good volume on that bar. Yeah, there was. It's just going sideways. Gosh, I guess if it takes out these tops, that'd be pretty good. Oh, gee whiz, look, they bought it on a pickup in volume. Tails up just a bit, starts to pick up. There you go. Own it. There you go. Simplicity works. Financials are picking up a little bit. Good to see. Industrials picking up a little bit. Good to see. Technology's picking up. Look at this technology. Team, do you notice what phrase did I use quite a bit in this video? Picking up. Okay. It shows that there's some strength in various pockets, things to look for. Let the price and volume guide your actions. I'm not saying, oh, this is the start, this is where we're going to explode. No, but price and volume will tell us. And so far, we're seeing that there's some pockets of strength. That's good to know. Consumer staples picking up a little bit, good to see. Utilities, yeah, maybe kind of lagging. Healthcare's picking up a little bit. Look at that across those tops. Look at the volume. That's good to see. Consumer discretionary lagging, nothing to do with it. Metals and mining picking up a little bit. That's all right. Oil picking up, energy related. Retailing doing decently. Software picking up a little bit. So now let's take it a step further and let's look at the MAXLIST stocks. Here's Apple. Apple picked up, but had a lower low basically here. There's not a lot of power here. Okay, be careful with that. Doing compare and contrast for everybody. I see a lot of talk about the higher low setup. I'd like to show this to you. This is something I developed years ago, okay? And it's conceptually very simple. It's easy to understand. If it's easy to understand, that means it's easier for other people to understand. If it's easier for other people to understand, does that not mean by default they will probably buy it also? Yes. That's why people love the cup with handle. Everybody sees it. It's conceptually simple, makes sense, and they buy. There you go. That's what we're looking for. So right here, Apple had a higher low. This low is higher than this low. It's been falling steadily, right? It's just falling, and then it falls, and then it rallies, and then it falls, and you have a higher low. This low is higher than this low. And we had buys in here, a couple of different buys right in here. And it worked. Higher low setup. This low is higher than this low. There you go, folks. Don't overthink it. That's it. Here's a beautiful part about this. You can buy this setup and have very controlled risk. What would be your risk? If you bought this in here, okay, right in here, you're not going to buy up here. You're going to buy when the higher low triggers, when it takes out the previous bar's highs. If you buy, where would you be concerned and have to act? If it takes out the lows of this bar. You could sell it for a very small loss. Day charts only. There we go. So let's continue onward. Let's do Amazon. Amazon, this is just a lower low. There's no higher low here. Okay, here's the low. It rallies up. There's no higher low. It's just a low. This, as I pointed out, is a higher low. This low is higher than this low. Compare and contrast, there's a difference. I want to bring that up. Alibaba lifting up a little bit here, does have a higher low, slight volume pickup, and that's good to see. A lot of overhead. I just pointed it out. BIDU, higher low setup, MAXLIST stop, picking up a little bit. Google, it's a higher low, but it's kind of a stretch here. Okay, you gotta be a little cautious with it, but it is lifting. What does this tell us? By the way, if you notice, team, I don't have any bias here, and you shouldn't either. We are simply letting the price and volume action guide our actions. It keeps us on the right side of the markets. We don't impose our will on the stocks. There we go. Let's continue onwards. Goldman Sachs has had a good run, as you can see. And this did have a higher low, and it lifted off. Part of this happened when I was up in Maine. This was starting to pick up. There it is. I'm not saying buy it here, but note, You see this low? That's a low. Rallies up, falls, and you have a higher low. This low is higher than this low. And you had an igniting bar here. And it lifted up some. I'm not saying buy it, but just trying to show it to you, okay? Let's continue onwards. Meta, just kind of lifting up. There's really no higher low here or anything like that. There's no high probability setup with this, okay? Just to let you know. Microsoft, picking up a little bit, a little choppier. Be cautious with these. Don't, I encourage you, be very disciplined in your approach here. Don't get sloppy and never impose your will on the stocks. Let the price and volume action guide your actions. That would be good. And as I stated, never argue with price. Netflix is picking up a little bit, and that's good to see. Maybe it'll start to turn a corner. And this leads to a very important point, team. If, and this is for everybody, if this rally is going to be real, it's going to last longer than a couple of days, okay? Remember that. Please remember that. It's not going to be, oh, that was good for 2 days, man. That was awesome. No, big money is made in riding trends. We'll see if it is. It'll tell us. NVDA had a base here, and it's picking up some, all right? And it's working. This is a MAXLIST stock. Picking up. I'm not saying buy it here, but you can see the base, okay? Chopped around a little bit, then lifted off here, and it's lifted off a little bit. Again, I'm not saying buy it, just pointing out you had a simple base there. There you go. And then Tesla. Do you have a higher low here? No. We've got a lower low, and that's it so far. Maybe what will happen, though, and I'll do this for you as a service. It does this. I'm not saying it's going to, but it does. We'll say it goes up. It pulls back. And then it turns, excuse me, up again. And you get a higher low where this low is higher than this low. And if it takes that out, that could be a potential buy. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying to buy it. I'm just pointing out, educating what to look for. Now, let's talk risk management here. All right. I want to do this to help everybody. And yes, for those that don't know, I was an IBD co-leader for 12 years. I taught this on the stage in depth every week until people started heckling and throwing things at me. Kept me in great shape, though. Let me tell you. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. You get a higher low setup, pulls back, starts to rally. You can say, well, Pat, that's great. But where would we sell if we're wrong? And that's something a lot of good investors don't talk about too much. We have to talk about what we're going to do if it runs, and we're going to have to do, what are we going to do if it doesn't work? And I'll share this with you. So let's suppose, and I'm just picking Tesla. I'm not saying it's going to fail. Please, no. But it runs up, it pulls back, and it forms a higher low, and it starts to lift. And it takes out the highs of this bar. And so you buy, taking out the high of that bar right there. And I'll draw an arrow for you. I'm very specific and precise on this, okay? High on that bar. I'll draw the line for you, okay? Takes out the high of that bar and it does it right there. And so you buy. It does it in a good market with good volume. Where will you take defensive action? A lot of people talk about, oh, this is what I can make. Good investors also have a plan on this is how I will manage it if it doesn't work out. And they have that plan in place before they need to do it. That's good investing, folks. It's what I used to teach for years. So, takes out that line. So you buy right here. Runs up. If it starts to fall below that line right there, okay, fall back into that base, you've got to sell at least 1/2 of your shares because you're wrong. That's simple. Don't argue with price. Oh, it just has to come back. Banish that thought. Just because you own it, it has to come back. Just because I own it, it has to come back. It's going to do whatever it's going to do. All we do is get in line with it. Okay? Great quote from Dave Landry. I had this quote taped to my monitor for over 20 years. I'll believe in what I see and not in what I believe. I'll say it again. I'll believe in what I see and not in what I believe. That quote saved me through the years. Just get in line with what is. So it lifts up and you buy it. If it starts to fall below that line, you sell some. If it keeps falling and it loses out the lows of this bar right here, the higher low setup is no longer valid, and you sell the rest for a very small loss.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.